Hey, TYT Sports RotoWire Survivor heading into week 4.
Oh, our pool, yeah, we both survived. I actually took Atlanta this week in our pool.
I took the Giants.
Okay.
Wait, who'd you take?
You'll need the Giants later. They're going to be good.
Who'd you take in Survivor?
Atlanta.
You did?
I mean, not in my real pools, just in that rebuy pool. Rebuy's different. I took New Orleans.
I took New England. I flip-flopped New Orleans, New
I
England.
almost say something about this, but
yes,
go ahead.
No, that's we're saying it.
Are we live now?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I ended up with New England and was just sweating it. But I guess if I had taken New Orleans, I would have been sweating it too. So
Let me tell you something. That is bullshit, that holding call. I had Darren McFadden going in the league, okay, and do you know how much Survivor goodness that would have been with New Orleans as all my picks? You know how many people would have lost, or not, they wouldn't have lost, it would have been tied. They would not have had the stones to go for 2, but at least it goes to overtime then, and you know, it's 50-50 that maybe New England loses. And how do you call a holding penalty? The guy was past the guy that was being held.
I have the Raiders in a season-long bet with a bunch of people, so every Raider win is worth something to me. They just have to get to 5 for me to turn that into cash. You know, this is one of the problems with watching the Red Zone channel. Is I see that touchdown and I'm like, hey, the Raiders! Look, I mean, you know they're going to lose anyway, but like 1916.
No, you don't know.
But you know, maybe something weird happens. But like, and then the Red Zone, you don't get the replay, so I never quite got a look. At what happened, but you're saying McFadden was past him. I read about it.
I read about it. I didn't like, you know, scream, but the announcer was like, you know, that was a stupid hold because he was already by him, and it's like, then just don't call it.
Then don't call it.
I mean, come on, you know, it's like, oh, maybe there's a guy holding on the other side of the field 50 yards away, and he grabbed the guy, and it's not, the ball's over here. Like,
when the Raiders play the Patriots, the referees are going to insist on inserting themselves and ruining the game for the Raiders.
Well,
like
that's never happened before. But it was
a fumble.
That would have been huge. You realize how many people, 50% of pools would have gone down. Don't be excited that you survived to week 3 or week 8 or week 12. You need to survive while other people die. That's the whole point of it. If everybody's alive in week 12, your investment is not worth anything more than it was initially. You need other people to perish. And this was a chance for it to happen, and the referees took that away from you. And I would almost rather lose in Survivor than have be about to get a big payout with a big team going down where everybody's on it and having it cheaply reversed. Now, they weren't necessarily going to love. It was only going to be tied. It would have been 50-50.
Would have had the ball and he probably would have scored.
Maybe, but no, there was like less than a minute left. They would have probably gone to overtime unless they had the stones to go for 2, which they should, but they wouldn't.
Are you mad about that? Or
yes, I'm mad about it.
Every point in that
Plus,
game.
I had McFadden in a fantasy league too.
I said this yesterday on.
God.
Every point in that league was scored by a player whose name ends Kowski. Every single point. Isn't that amazing?
I wish we could just keep a list of your Ben Mankiewicz facts.
Goskowski.
That's great. And last week it was like Michigan State University.
Last week was Michigan State University. Yeah. So
anyway, Chris, based on that,
I wish I thought of that. I would have written that in my blog.
Take it. Somebody told me. I didn't come up with it.
So the obvious then is San Diego this week. So you're going to hope that everyone's on them and then stay away.
We got to look at the numbers, and we will know it's only Tuesday morning, so we have to look at the polling data. You look at that too, right? On office football polls, you can search all picks. There's hundreds of thousands of people. Our pool skews things like these weird rebuy pools and stuff. So I actually bump it a little higher than it is for like one and done pools. But you've got San Diego, who's a huge favorite. They're 13.5 at home against Jacksonville. I think a lot of people may be on them because here's the thing: when Denver's the 13-point favorite, and you should never do this, but people do it. They say, "I'm going to save Denver. I don't want to use Denver." People are like, this is the week to use San Diego. Right. This is going to be one of the highest we've seen, I think, because everybody has them available. So there's no one's not using them because they've used them already. And then 2, nobody cares to save San Diego. And there's nothing else even close to this. I could see a 70%, which would be ridiculous on this. And if there's 70% on San Diego, I don't care how likely they are to win. You do not take them. You go to Pittsburgh hosting Tampa. You go to Indy hosting Tennessee. You find another team, and it's going to be risky. It's going to be risky.
But this is where it's going to pay off.
I probably would go Pittsburgh, if San Diego is 70% owned. Now, if I'm wrong and San Diego is 40% owned, I'm going to take San Diego. But you must look at the percent owned. It's crucial to winning your pool. Again, don't just try to survive. If you survive to week 12 because all the favorites win and everybody's alive with you, that does nothing for you. You need to win, and the way you win is one of these big upsets. And it can happen. It happens every year.
Also, it's called Survivor. I mean, what would you like to rename
No, it's not about Survivor. It's Soul Survivor. It's about Soul Survivor, or 3 of you split it Survivor.
So don't just survive.
No, you can survive, but the point is, it doesn't. Here's the way to look at it. You buy in for your $10 or whatever, and there's 100 people in the pool. There's $1,000 to win. In the beginning, week 1, you have 1% equity in the entire pool. The name of the game is to get 100% equity, all $1,000 for you. Okay? It's not about, hey, you made it to week 12, but your equity went from $10 to $13. That's not really a huge win. If half the people lose, your equity is now worth 20, okay? As more people lose, your equity in the total pool grows. The name of the game is maximize your expected equity each week, which includes surviving, but it also includes picking a path where if certain things happen, more people are out. So that's a huge part of the game.
I agree. I would not take San Diego this week just because even if you never look at any of these numbers, you know that there is a massive amount of money, percentages on the Chargers are going to be huge. Like 70% may well be right. Our thing's a little messed up. I might take San Diego anyway because I don't mind losing them. But and if they lose, buy back in. But I will probably take Pittsburgh this week because I don't think there's huge value in having Pittsburgh down the road. But if you're in a pool where you get eliminated this week and you want to stay away from San Diego, which I think could be a very prudent thing to do, I know Chris has taken them with getting 7.5. I think Indiana's lost their games. I don't think they're going to lose. I don't think they're going to lose a division game, and I think they'll beat Tennessee, and I think that's a pretty safe pick.
Yeah. The worst is when was San Diego a morning game or an afternoon game? Oh, it's an afternoon game. The worst is if it was a morning game. This happened to me a couple years ago, and they lose, and so you're like stoked for your afternoon game because the whole pool is gone, and then my team lost in the afternoon. I was like, no, I was so excited.
Yeah, that didn't happen to me last year because I won Survivor.
Oh God!
Thanks for sharing that fact.
Well, we hope you win Survivor too.